The afternoon sun cast a soft glow over Washington, D.C. Karoline Leavitt, just 27 years old, the youngest White House press secretary in history, was unwinding in her upscale apartment near the White House. The small silver cross on the collar of her navy blue blazer, a token of faith from her home state of New Hampshire, shimmered as she rose to her feet. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. President Trump was on the line. "Karoline, there's a religious case at the D.C. local court. A group of Christians is suing after being banned from praying in public. Get over there now, observe, report back." His voice was sharp, urgent, giving her no time to hesitate. Her apartment, as always, reflected her disciplined nature. Documents stacked neatly, business outfits prepared in advance. Today, she chose a simpler look: blazer, white shirt, black pants. But the cross? That she wore without fail. As Trump's spokesperson, she was no stranger to handling crises. But this struck deeper. This was personal. Without wasting a second, Karoline jumped into her sleek black SUV, navigating through the crowded streets. NPR news blared from the radio, but she switched it off, tuning in instead to the weight of the task ahead. Before diving in, comment below where you're watching from. And don't forget, subscribe so you never miss the latest stories. Pushing through the glass doors of the D.C. local court, Karoline stepped into a stifling, chaotic scene. The hum of murmuring voices filled the space like a badly tuned orchestra. Citizens awaited their minor cases, traffic violations, contract disputes, while clerks hammered away at their keyboards in the corner. She glanced at her watch. 2:53 p.m. Just minutes left before the hearing began, the one Trump had sent her to monitor closely. Choosing a hard wooden chair in the middle row, she sat, placed her document bag beside her, and unlocked her phone, ready to take notes. The silver cross at her neck gleamed under the fluorescent lighting, though she paid no attention. Others, however, did. The courtroom was small, but the clutter made it feel suffocating. A middle-aged man in a t-shirt emblazoned with "I am King" scrolled through his phone a few seats away. To her right, a young woman with a necklace so oversized it sparkled brighter than a chandelier whispered to her lawyer. Karoline frowned. Clearly, there weren't any strict dress codes here. Focusing on her task, she documented the details: Christians suing the government for banning public prayer in a local park. A case Trump wanted to highlight for conservatives. She was here as his eyes and ears. Then, the wooden door behind the judge's bench swung open. Judge Charles Hargrove stepped out, 62 years old. A rigid, no-nonsense demeanor. His salt and pepper hair combed back, wire-rimmed glasses slipping down his nose, black robe pressed as if freshly ironed. The room fell silent. "All rise," commanded James Wilson, a tall, stern-faced bailiff. Karoline stood along with the others, phone still in hand, eyes sharp as she observed Hargrove. He slammed his gavel down. "This is a court of law, not a stage for theatrics," he declared, his voice slicing through the room like a blade. He worked fast. A parking fine, $1.50. No debate. A woman late on rent. Just a warning. Efficient. Cold. Karoline took notes, observing his machine-like precision. Then, she glanced at the man in the "I am King" t-shirt as he stood for a neighbor dispute. Not a single mention of his flashy attire. The woman with the giant necklace? Called up, but not a word about her jewelry. Karoline's brow furrowed. Something wasn't right. Then, Hargrove's gaze landed on her. Mid-sentence, he stalled. His eyes narrowed behind his glasses, flipping through papers as if confirming something. And then, "Miss Leavitt," he said, his voice cold, but edged with hesitation. He knew exactly who she was. Karoline looked up, unsurprised, standing with quiet composure. Murmurs rippled through the room as others recognized her. "Too. That cross," Hargrove pointed, his tone rigid. "It doesn't belong here. This courtroom is neutral. No religious displays." Karoline's gaze swept the room. No signs prohibited religious symbols. Her voice was clear, unwavering. "I'm Karoline Leavitt, White House press secretary, here for work. This is a personal item, protected by the First Amendment. I'm violating no rules. Hargrove's jaw tensed. Work? This isn't a place to make statements. This is my courtroom.
Bang.
He slammed the gavel again, as if stamping his authority. James Wilson, the bailiff, watched closely. Mrs. Thompson, the middle-aged court clerk with her hair wound in a tight bun, glanced up from her keyboard, curiosity flickering in her eyes. The man in the t-shirt and the woman with the oversized necklace exchanged glances, stunned. Why wasn't Hargrove calling them out, too? Karoline gripped her phone tighter. It wasn't just her. He was targeting the cross itself. Sir, I have the right to wear it, she said, her tone steady. Hargrove cut her off, sharp. Don't lecture me on the law. Step forward, now. The room held its breath. Karoline exhaled slowly, walking toward the defendant's stand. Her heels clicked against the aged wooden floor, the only sound in the hushed courtroom. The silver cross on her blazer shimmered, like a small flame before a storm. From his elevated bench, Hargrove's eyes darkened. His grip tightened around the gavel. Why are you here, wearing that thing? Karoline didn't flinch. I'm here on duty, and I have the right to wear this. She discreetly flicked her phone's recording mode on. Hargrove's gavel slammed again, his voice rising. I've seen people like you, thinking faith gives them the right to disrupt. This is my courtroom, and I say it's not allowed. He leaned forward, voice low but sharp. Do you understand this is contempt of court? Karoline's brow furrowed. She glanced around. The man in the t-shirt? Ignored. The woman with the necklace? Not a word. But her tiny cross? A problem. Sir, I'm not disrupting anything, she replied, voice unwavering. My attire doesn't affect anyone. If there's a specific rule, I'd like to see it. Hargrove's lips curled into a humorless smirk. A rule? I am the rule here. Another slam. Mrs. Thompson stopped typing. The murmurs in the crowd grew. An older man whispered, that necklace is bigger. Why isn't he saying anything? James Wilson, arms crossed, tilted his head. He'd seen bias before. But this was different. Karoline took a breath. A direct fight wouldn't work. She needed the long game. Sir, if I've broken a rule, I have the right to a clear explanation. Hargrove sneered, taking it as a challenge. $500 fine. Contempt of court.
Bang.
Gasps echoed. Karoline locked eyes with him. Sir, why am I fined, but the others aren't? Hargrove's face burned red. Because you're the only one bold enough to bring a religious symbol here. That was it. Not rules. Not law. Bias. Karoline said nothing, but she knew. This wasn't just about her. This was bigger. And she was going to expose it,